Fab Five in the house. This is so exciting. The day has finally arrived. Your interview with E.T. No, I'm kidding. Queer Eye. Queer Eye is available now on Netflix. I mean, you guys must be so excited. How do you feel now that it's out to the world?
Relieved. Finally, we can share what we've been.
We've kept the secret for so long.
It has been a long time.
Well, for so long we weren't allowed to talk about it, and now it's just been waiting for it to get released. So I think we're just super excited about people.
I think it's like the first time I've ever kept a secret, like successfully.
You did a very good job.
I don't know. Somebody you might have told something.
Yeah.
Just
you did a terrible job.
Just your mom. I was gonna say.
Just your mammy.
You gotta tell your moms and dads.
I just told anybody who would listen. I've been a reporter.
He's like, the internet. Guess what? I got something for you. Yeah, exactly. I mean, and also it's Netflix, so like they release all the episodes at once. So you really had to wait.
It's been amazing because all day long we have been getting messages from around the world from people watching the episodes right now. They're like, we're on episode 5, we're on episode 7,
Like,
we're on
calm
episode 8.
Calm down. Take your time.
And they are just all saying, we love it, we are crying, I'm laughing. And so it's this immediate response because of social media and because of Netflix that we've never had before.
Yeah. Well, I mean, I watched the first episode, so many feels. I anticipate a lot of people are going to be reaching out to you guys after they watch these episodes.
It's making them feel all kinds of emotions that they weren't expecting. I think they were just expecting what they got from the last show, which was fun, and it was amazing. But people keep messaging saying, I'm crying. I love that feeling.
My favorite moment, though, I think, was watching us dubbed in Italian.
Oh, yes.
I've yet to see that. I can't wait to hear
It's a
about
show
it.
for literally everybody.
Everyone.
Like for everyone.
Karamo was no.
Funny part, that's
how he says it.
Yeah, that's how I start my day every day. No.
That was like the only part not dubbed.
Coming in from the bottom. No.
I try to channel my inner Donatella Versace.
That's really good.
I gotta say, I also love the chemistry between you guys. Did any of you know each other before
No.
yet? That's
We
crazy.
met the first day of casting.
That is so
And
crazy.
Karamo found a video of us on the first day of casting where literally us three were already sitting next to each other. He was covered up in Tan's jacket. You see them in the background. We knew. Like, we connected
It's
so
actually
quickly.
It's like our 1 year anniversary.
Yeah.
Yes.
Like 2 weeks.
I can't believe it's been a year already.
Yeah.
So are you guys like besties now?
Yeah.
You guys are brothers?
And we lived together practically for 4 months, so
Yeah.
we get to know each other so well.
Right.
I would say like brothers because I didn't grow up with brothers, and so this has been a learning curve for me of like what it's like to have brothers. But it's amazing because you have people you can lean on, you can turn to for support, you can laugh with, and it's just a really good time to spend this many months helping people with people you love.
Yeah.
And like when you're doing a makeover show in Atlanta in the dead of summer, when you're keeping like one person, like trying to make one person look great, and then I'm also, we've all been through the trauma of keeping 5 grown men and another man from not looking like we're sweating to death. So that is a trauma bond right there. I can really lean on them
We've
for
seen some
that.
stuff together.
Yeah, we really have.
You guys were in the trenches
Yes.
together, really.
Yes.
The band of
Sweaty
brothers
trenches.
right here. Yeah, right, exactly. So the original Queer Eye premiered in 2003. Where were you? What were you doing in 2003?
I was walking through, my sisters were watching the show, and I watched it in secret as I was walking through the living room, and they were like getting the tips because I felt sort of like shamey and weird about it.
Right.
And I was a junior in high school having a very big crush on Kai and Hay. I was just a mere junior in high school, and I was junior, I was a sophomore. I just graduated early, so I forgot.
He's Benjamin
she was
Button.
a sophomore.
Oh, she's aging backwards.
But that show, it was so important for me, like being on a river, like in the middle of America, to like see that show.
Absolutely.
I was literally raised on a river. I was. My mom found me and she was like, "Girl, no." But yeah, it was really important. And it's definitely like big shoes to step into because like anytime you're coming back into something, and this was such a beloved show, and I think all of us, and when you speak on like the relief part, it's like just such big shoes to fill in. And the original Fab have been so gracious, and me and Carson were chatting last night a little bit on Instagram, and it's just really nice to have them be open and have these shoes be. I think we were in them.
Yeah.
You're in them.
Yeah,
Oh, no,
but
you're
Not like as big, but like we're standing in them.
They're different shoes.
Yeah,
They're different shoes, and they're gorgeous. They're both great sets of boots.
Yeah, I say we walk
90s loafers.
I say we walk the path of the original Fab Five truly, but in our own shoes, in our own way, which is pretty amazing. Because no one is going to look at the Fab Five, original Fab Five, and then look at us and say, "Oh, they're trying to make him this person, trying to make him this person." We are unique.
Different.
We are individuals.
Absolutely.
We all bring something new and fresh, and I think that's why this is going to resonate with people around the world in such an amazing way.
Yes, world spokeswoman. Yes,
I
love it.
But let's touch on that just a little bit more because obviously 15 years ago, a lot has changed since then. Why was now the perfect time to bring Queer Eye back?
The thing is that I think the reason it's important to come back is when you have a Republican administration in the White House, it's really important to have Queer Eye. And obviously, Queer Eye 1 was 2003 to 7, which was in the waning years of Bush.
Yeah.
So now in the waxing years of Trump, we need to I think waxing is getting bigger. Yeah, we totally just need to have we need to have, some queer visibility on telly.
It's true.
And we have some, but
And I think what's important about that is we're in such a divided place right now. People seem like they're not talking anymore. Everyone is on this side and on this side. And what Queer Eye and what we're doing as a Fab Five is we're trying to go into these places in the South where people are dividing and saying, you know what, we're more alike than we are different. So let's come together and work it out and be fabulous together.
Yeah.
We know the things that make us different, and what we're trying to do is find the things that make us the same.
Yeah.
But we need a feel-good show. My boyfriend watched the episodes and he was saying, he's like, it's the type of show that I can watch after a whole long day at the office where I'm like super tired and wiped out and I can just go home and feel like I'm getting a warm hug.
Yes,
That's what it is.
Absolutely.
I
That's how
got
felt after
quoted
the first
comparing
episode.
it to British Bake Off, which is my ultimate
But it makes you feel good, right? And what's crazy is that importance, right? The impact and culture, something you guys are way more aware of going into this series than the original were, right? And something you say, Tan, in the promo that struck a chord with me was the original was about tolerance, this one's about acceptance.
Yeah.
How do you guys address that in this show? How do you fight for it?
Do you know, we fight for it by just being ourselves. So we talk about everything in our lives on the show. And when you watch the original show, they were doing these amazing makeovers and it was so much fun, but you didn't really learn a lot about the original Fab Five. I don't think that it was the right forum, the right platform to be able to say, I've got a boyfriend, I've got a kid. It's just not appropriate. Or a husband. And this is 2018. We should be able to talk about every facet of our lives.
Yeah.
We represent every man. We represent different communities, different cultures, different religions. So I think that's why we're saying we're fighting for tolerance. We're fighting for acceptance. Sorry. This is the time to accept us as your brothers, your kin, your fathers, your brothers, whatever.
Yeah. Changing culture one makeover at a time. It is still a makeover show, which is part of the fun, right?
Yeah. Make better.
Make better.
Yeah.
That's right.
It is.
Make
Make
better.
better.
We're improving lives, not changing them. We're improving them. I
You're
love
not
that.
10 blocks away.
Right.
It's 2 doors down.
Exactly.
It's just
They're our neighbors.
And America and the rest of the world is ready for this now. They
think
weren't
so, too.
before. They are now. Or they should be at least.
Right. So talk to me about the makeovers. I mean, do we still get that trepidation from those the men?
Yes. Oh,
yeah.
What was the biggest challenge for them?
For my part of a makeover was with an episode where we had to say goodbye to a top knot and say hello to a new version of a beard. He was really nervous,
Yeah, he was.
and so that was I've never seen someone when I wash their hair, their legs just are stick straight. He was so nervous.
no,
He's I can't relax.
Yeah.
So that one was hard. What about you?
I think that their biggest fear is they think that we're going to come in there and just pick them apart. Like everything that's wrong with them and just put it out there for the world to see. But we're really coming in looking for everything that's great about them.
Yeah.
And finally letting them see it. Because that's the biggest, I think, their biggest hurdle in their lives was seeing what everyone else sees about them.
Yeah, for me, I think a lot of it was these men. I really kind of go take these men on an emotional journey. I try to figure out what the fears, the anxieties are that's holding them back. And a lot of times, men are taught you got to hold that in.
Yeah.
You can't talk about your feelings. You can't express what's going on in your life. You can't be curious about what's happening in your wife's lives. You're, without seeming weak. And so for me, they were nervous of I don't want to be too emotional. I don't want to be too emotional. I was like, let it go.
Yeah.
Let
Yeah,
it
yeah,
go. Let it go. Oh, we can't do it anymore. We have to pay for it. Okay. You okay? We got it. We got it. We got it, boo. We got it.
Disney's next door. They can hear it.
Okay, we got it, boo. We got it.
Food was tricky too, because some of these guys eat to basically survive. Like we have Corey, for example, who you're still really good friends with. This is someone who is terrified of his own kitchen. He's never prepared a meal for his own family. And although he didn't have a really strong interest in cooking per se, but when we gave him a reason to do it, to connect with his daughters and his wife, that served as an impetus to sort of get his butt, back in the kitchen and just to start doing that again.
Isn't it crazy how there's an emotional attachment to everything you guys are addressing for
and
them,
they
right?
intersect as well, and we got to explore that through our field trips as well, where we sort of, it wasn't as delineated and sort of as strict as it was, I think, in the first iteration.
That's the beauty of it. I'm glad you just said that. We're Renaissance men. Each of us could actually do what the other one does.
Yeah.
We're experts in our fields, but we all can.
I'm waiting for that meal you're gonna cook for me. I'm waiting for that meal.
So we're all Renaissance men. We actually do a really good job
It's
of
true.
being able to support each other in each other's categories, and I think that's what's the beauty of it. Is that Tan could, I could talk about fashion with Tan. I could talk about food with him. He could talk about culture, all all the time. You know, we all mesh well.
Absolutely.
And so you see that in the show.
And it's not just that we mesh well, we mesh well and work together to make sure we're doing the best for this hero. We call them our heroes. We want the best for them. If one of us doesn't know an area to help them with, we work together, we band together. And that's why I think it works so well.
You guys pair up too and
Yeah,
stuff like
we do.
that.
Yeah, and a little
Yeah.
shout out to production for also not heavily producing and really giving us the freedom to have that discussion.
Yeah.
What
Sometimes we thought we had a plot, we thought we had this whole trajectory for the course of the
Yeah.
hero, and then we'd get together and realize, like, you know what, this
And that
person's
doesn't
needs are
work.
different, and it doesn't work.
Or sometimes you see a little clip of their toes when you didn't have a chance to do a pedicure and you wish that you had taken another trajectory and you're like, great.
Is that your way of sharing that?
Yeah, this is what we're doing now. Yeah.
And one of the other big differences, I think, between the original and how we're getting to help them, the original was mostly New York City.
Yeah.
Usually
Right.
just either single guys, bachelors in apartments in New York. We're getting to help families.
Yeah.
You know, like if you look at the Corey episode, we went into the Corey episode thinking we were helping this one cop who loved to go to NASCAR, who had parties in his basement, and I went in thinking, okay, I'm gonna maybe give him a better party basement.
Yeah.
But then we got there and we realized he was spending a little too much time in that party
Yeah.
basement. And he needed to be upstairs with his wife and daughters. And so I decided last second to redo the upstairs of his house instead of the downstairs. And we all taught him, you know, he taught him how to do his little girl's hair, and he taught him how to
Which
cook
because I
food,
spent
and
too
he
much
taught
time
him how to
talking to
relate
you.
to his children,
Yeah.
and he taught him how to dress
Wow.
not just for himself but for his wife.
Right.
And it was really pretty because we got to help the entire family, not just one guy.
So talk about the key you guys had with the original Fab Four. One of them was missing, right?
He was there in
He
spirit.
was there in spirit, the
was.
cutouts.
He was there in,
right?
in two cutouts.
I
yeah.
love that. What advice did the guys give you about embarking on this
So
journey?
Carson said, more important than anything, remember to have fun and just
Yeah.
to sort of stay in the moment, which is easier said than done, I'm realizing now, because we're so obsessed, like, what's the next thing?
Right.
And
But also
it's
it's
this
because
ma-
it's like they created big shoes to fill. Like I
Of
think that's
course.
because he last night on Instagram I was like, why? I was like, I'm nervous, and he like on my story, and he was like, well, why are you nervous? Like all the work is over. It's like because you created some beautifully big shoes to step into. So I think we would be like vegetables if we
you
weren't
want them to be
if we
proud.
weren't a little nervy.